all leather is not created equally. What does that say right there? Leather. You're right. Comes from Walmart. Let's cut it open and see what's inside. The heck is that? Is that cork? Oh my goodness. Look at this. Welcome to Big Stack's Small Workshop. So today we're going to do something a little different for Q&A. We're going to start with the Q&A portion, which is basically the 3 questions I picked as my favorites to win the belt template that I make. We're also going to take a look at the inside of a Wal-Mart belt. On to the questions. Wendell Beatty, 1144, asks me, made my first belt a few days ago for my son, and it would have been a lot easier if I would have seen your video on measuring it first. But I think your template would have made it a lot easier. I would be looking for them. Thanks for your videos, or a lot of help. What is the best way to make a leather belt holder at the end? Wendell, this is a great question. There's a couple different ways you can make it. You could take some scrap leather and make a loop out of it, fasten it together with some kind of staple, or I like to use rivets, but you're gonna have to skive the bottom so it fits in between the 2 pieces that you're riveting together of the main belt. That's one way. The second way is you could buy some. There are some that are actually pre-made. They're made out of metal that match buckles. Man, they look great. They look really sharp on a nice belt. The third option, and my favorite option, is just to buy them when I buy the belt blanks. And here, let me show you. This is one here from Weaver. Let's pop it out of here. Take a look at this right here. That is a pre-made one from Weaver, and it's set to match, I believe it's the antique brown. It's got the staples in the bottom. These things are like, I don't know, $2, something like that. Maybe even less than $2. I showed you how to get to almost $100 an hour. And if we hadn't bought that hole puncher, we would have made it to $100 an hour making those belts. The time it's going to take you to make one of these is going to come nowhere close to $2 when you figure in $100 an hour, $70 an hour, $50 an hour, probably even $30 or $20 an hour. So now if you're just making one at home for a friend, like you made one for your son, no big deal. You can make your own. I would just end up take part of the belt that I cut off, make the loop out of that. It still looks great, but I really like these right here. Under $2, can't beat it. And by the way, Wendell, thank you for your question. The second winner of the Big Stacks belt template is Sherry Buyer 9331. Sherry Buyer, I do it the hard way. Even when I've purchased blanks, leather thickness was an issue. When using sides, consistent thickness is an issue. But finding a belt blank over 48 inches is difficult too. As for the template, I've purchased one only to find out the holes start way too close to the end. And spacing is not 1 inch, which most people like. So my template is just usually old belt ends. What's your template hole spacing? Great question. I too was like you. I just used an old, I actually would pull off the belt that I was wearing right then and use that to mark it. And I still have to line up length and width centered. So I'm centered, each one at 1 inch. My template, exactly 5 inches from the end is your first hole. And why do I do this? Because you need to put another hole or 2 in that belt so the person can still wear it. Let's say they gain a little bit of weight. You're still good. It still looks nice. So my first hole is 5 inches from the end. Then I have 5 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly 1 inch apart. These are now for sale in the Big Stack store. You'll see a link down below. Sherry, thank you for your question. And you're going to get one of these and you're going to have to try it out. Let me know what you think. The third winner of the Big Stacks belt template is DSims 6. Is it more cost effective to cut belts straight from a larger hide? I would assume it is, but when you factor everything in, what's your opinion? You could absolutely buy a nice hide, cut belt blanks from it. All you need is a strap cutter. Time is money, right? Buying the hide and cutting the blanks would save you the money. All you got to do is this, with your strap cutter, and you can keep going. When you look at this big hide, say you have a big hide, and you cut the first strip, right along the back. That's good leather. That's good leather. The second one, also probably good leather. But all leather is not created equally. on the exact same hide, because as you work your way down, it gets softer, it's going to stretch more. So your belt blanks are going to be up here on the top of the hide. The middle of the hide is going to be your other project, and the bottom, the belly, is more for tooling. Now I want you to consider for a moment that once you cut the belt hide, you're going to have to take those edges along the whole belt and burnish them. You're also going to have to dye them before you burnish. It's going to take you time, and you will save money in materials. But depending on what your labor rate is or what your labor rate goal is, especially if it's like $100 an hour, you're not going to get there. These belt blanks also come pre-punched. So yes, you will save material costs, but will you save time? I don't believe so. And that's the reason that I only buy the ones that with the edges done and the holes already punched for the buckle. D Sims, thank you very much for that question. Now that we've covered all our questions, let's take that belt and cut it open. What does that say right there? Leather. You're right. Comes from Walmart. It is leather. Full grain leather. Let's cut it open and see what's inside. Full grain leather. Take a peek. Let's look inside. We see a little bit of brown or a little bit of black. And let's peel that back. We'll just take it across right here. The heck is that? Is that cork? How many of you think Walmart will actually let me return this? We know there's a return policy. All right. I have no idea what that is. I can't tell if that's glue or part of the leather. Is this leather right here? Oh my goodness. Look at this. The outside appears to be some type of polyurethane leather or a genuine leather. And the inside is probably the actual bonded leather. Go ahead and cut this out. This feels like leather. The guts feel like leather. Oh yeah, this is leather. I'm gonna let you guys take a look at this. So, look at that. That is not full grain leather. I haven't examined the back yet, but that, even though it's stamped there and it says full grain leather, that I do not believe is full grain leather. That right there, on the inside, look at that, on the inside, that is full grain leather. Leather, right there, it says leather. Right there, that's your leather. How about that? What schmucks? Let me get my glasses on. Let's take a closer look at this. That might actually be leather. I don't know. It's leather with some kind of coating on it if it's leather. Yeah, it's leather. You see that? That's leather. The back is leather, some kind of coating on it. What do you guys think? What's your opinion on this? This actually feels like leather. It's probably split off of a thicker hide. So this looks like leather. Don't believe this is leather. Don't believe this is leather. Unbelievable. That's your full grain leather belt from Walmart. Go figure. I know you can make a better belt than that. Get in your shop. Go make a belt right now. Show the world what real leather looks like. Remember, Big Stacks grows, Big Stacks builds, Big Stacks makes. If you want to see how to make $100 an hour making belts, check out this video right here. And I'll see you guys next time on Big Stacks Small Workshop.